special presentation today from Mystic Mars. I am Ashley Pfeiffer, aka Metaphysical Ash, your go-to spiritual mentor and resource center. And we host a women's group on Facebook called Align Your Divine, where we offer resources, workshops, education, and support for women on their spiritual journey. So Mars, Mystic Mars, my dear friend and crystal connoisseur expert, sorry. Do you want to share a little bit about yourself before you start your presentation?
I'm Mars, and I started getting into crystals maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, I would say. And they've always helped me with healing. They've helped me just make my house pretty. And I have an 8-year-old daughter who also loves crystals. She said she wants to be a gemstone miner when she grows up. So it's something I'm very passionate about. I love to do it. I love to go look for them. And I'm very happy to share my information with you guys.
Yeah, I think we're all really curious about how to use crystals more appropriately. I have a large amethyst one that I like to use to heal my heart. I'm excited about what you're going to be going over today. So I'm going to pin you and I'm going to mute myself. And then whenever you want me to join back on, you just let me know. But we're going to listen to what you have to share with us.
Sounds good.
And
so, I wanted to start with what are crystals. So they're solid in which the atoms are arranged in an intricate pattern. And if a mineral has a certain atom arrangement in one of them, then it is a mineral that makes up, it's a crystal. And then how can they help you? Crystals emit positive, uplifting energy, and they have calming vibrations that can help you achieve a more peaceful mind and a revitalized physical overall state of being. And then how could you choose one? I personally am a huge fan of malachite, as it helps with emotional damage and trauma, and it helps you heal from that. And you can choose a crystal by just going to the store and figuring out which one maybe speaks to you. And I use my intuition whenever I go. So when I go in the store, I kind of just look around, and whatever one speaks to me, if I'm not sure about it, I'll ask about it and try to get as much information as I can on it. And if I feel like it's a fit for me, then I'll get that crystal based on what I need in my life. And then how could you use it? So how I like to use my crystals is I like to hold them in my non-dominant receiving hand, which would be my left. And it gives me support. It gives me reassurance. You can use them in yoga practices. You can use them in meditation. You can decorate your space with them. You can even put them under your pillow, calming crystals, of course. If you put them under your pillow, it can help soothe you and relax you, and it can help with night terrors. And they're awesome for that, because I suffer with night terrors. And then you can also use them as an energy cleanser. If you don't have sage or Palo Santo, crystals are a good energy cleanser for your home. And then a lot of people have asked me, how do you activate them and how do you set intentions on them? So you don't need to charge or activate a crystal for it to have its power and vibrations, because the crystal already has that. So when you activate it and set an intention on it, it gives you a more personable use, and it allows you to have a more personal relationship with your crystals. So how I like to personally activate them is I'll hold them in my non-dominant hand, my receiving hand, and I'll get into a meditative state, and I'll close my eyes, and I'll set an intent from my heart into the crystal. And that's normally how I like to set my intentions. And I'll set my intention based on what the crystal does, what it is, and what I feel like I need from it based out of what it does. And then it gives me more personable experience with it. And then, let's see. There's also crystals that you activate in the sunlight, and there's crystals that you activate in the moonlight. So the rule of thumb, sorry, would be that solar stones are red, orange, yellow, and gold. So like the colors of the sun. And then clear stones can be charged in either sunlight or moonlight. Those ones don't have a preference. And then the lunar stones are pink, purple, blue, green, and black. So they kind of like go with each other. And then you'll also notice that if you have any crystals that are lunar and you have them in the sunlight, their color might fade, and that's the only downside of lunar crystals being in the sun. So how I like to remember it, it's HBCV to activate them, which is hold, breathe, connect, and visualize. And so you just hold it in your receiving hand, you breathe into your meditative state, you connect with your crystal, and then visualize what you would like it to do for you in your life. And there's certain stones you do not use together because they can contradict each other, neutralize each other, etc. So what stones not to use together? I'm only going to list a few because there is a huge list of them. Clear quartz and stones with powerful properties you do not put together because the quartz amplifies the crystal that you're putting it with. So if you put like clear quartz with a moldavite, for example, which is one of the most powerful ones, it's a cosmic crystal, and if you put that together, it amplifies the energies of minerals nearby. So it depends on like how much energy you want to be coming off of that crystal, if it already has a lot of energy. And then lace agate and red jasper. Blue lace agate relaxes and allows you to slow down, while red jasper increases your vitality. So basically they would just neutralize the effects of each other and it wouldn't be doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then smoky quartz and tiger's eye. So smoky quartz protects the owner from any excessive energy or anything here to hurt you. And then tiger's eye gives a person a lot of energy and courage. So they kind of contradict each other when you would put them next to each other. And then pure quartz and green adventuring, they contradict each other. So the quartz gives you strength while the other stone soothes and relaxes. And then I wanted to speak on one of my favorite crystals, which is malachite. And I have malachite right here. And so malachite is in the jar. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see it. Maybe take the blur on. So malachite, I love because it's good for emotional trauma healing and like anything that you haven't wanted to deal with in your life. Malachite is really good for that. And the reason that it's in the jar is because with raw malachite, not polished, it's okay to hold polished malachite, but with raw malachite, oftentimes you'll see a warning label when you go to buy it, because if it's raw, you're not supposed to touch it with your hands, bare hands, or without a mask on. So gloves and a mask when you touch raw malachite, because if you touch raw malachite without it, it can, and there's dust particles that come off of it. If you breathe it in, it can be toxic to your respiratory system, and I don't think any of us want that. And then another favorite of mine is amethyst, which is good for, it's like a jack of all trades of the stone. So it does a little bit of everything. So that's why I love amethysts. And it's really good for like protection. It's good for soothing. It's good for anxiety, peace of mind, meditating. Do you have anything that you'd like to ask or add, Ashley?
Yeah, I just was looking at the stones that you were sharing. You mentioned the lunar crystals. That I never knew that.
Hmm.
Can you share a little bit more? Like what might I own that is a lunar crystal? So it would be important to know
So
this and understand this.
amethyst, rose quartz, um, amethyst, rose quartz. So it's pink, purple, blue, green, black. So like moldavite, amethyst, rose quartz, blue goldstone, um, green aventurine, black obsidian, hematite. Like there's a
Okay.
huge list. Like any of them that are those colors are supposed to be under moonlight.
Okay. And
And
then
then any that are the red, orange, yellow, gold, like calcite, red jasper, um, and such as those. Like they have like moonstone. Moonstone would be like it could be either or because it's more of like a clear. So moonstone you can do it under either light. Clear quartz you can do under either light.
I have a question. Like related to the work you do with the custom bracelets. And after I asked my question, Rachel, actually, let me say this before because I don't want to get you off track. Rachel commented. She said, I've never heard of lunar crystals either. I've always charged all my crystals in the moon. I'm not drawn to many of the solar stones. So she works more with lunar. That's so
Okay.
interesting.
It
That's
is.
so interesting, Rachel. So she must be, it must be what balances her or something that I like. So
Yeah.
I'm more drawn to some of the like brighter stones that would
See,
be
I'm more drawn to definitely the lunar crystals, and I'm also a
okay.
night owl. So I feel like that maybe goes one in one because I was born at 3 in the morning. So I feel like all that might have something to do with all that. Just because it's like when I feel my most creative, my most alive is like in the nighttime, which is crazy no matter what.
I'm the opposite. I was born at 3 in the
Hmm.
afternoon.
Yeah.
And I just like when that sun comes up, I'm out there. It like lights my
See, for
heart.
me, it's like 3 in the morning rolls around and it's like I got all these creativity ideas going through my brain.
Wow. That's so crazy. So I did have a question in regards to the work that you do because I've been watching you like you make specific tools of alchemy is what I would consider it. When you make your crystals, like say for example, someone came to you and I showed you my big stone, my red calcite, and I said,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I use that big stone. It's like this big. I use that stone to work through, sexual trauma, which has caused me to close my heart, and then I become too masculine. So, would you
Hmm.
put together a specific formulation of stones that someone could wear based on their specific trauma?
Yes. So like what I like to do and the one of the big reasons why I put personalized bracelets is
Yeah.
because whenever someone wants to get a personalized bracelet for me, I'm going to go through and I'm going to ask them questions about themselves so that the person can tell me more about themselves because I want the person to have a actual personalized bracelet, things that'll help them and not just like what do you think looks pretty, but more so, what do you think is going to help you and further you and progress you? And I like to do it based off of each individual person.
Yeah, I like that. Where would you suggest for to begin for someone who is new to crystals and they've never really acclimated themselves to the stones and they haven't worked with them? Because I know I've gifted a lot of crystals. I remember where I started. I feel that sometimes it can be overwhelming. It can upset your energy field. Like that ring that we
Yeah.
bought together when we went on our adventure to the store,
Yeah.
I needed to acclimate to that.
Yeah. Of
So how
course.
do
So,
you
yeah, when
start?
I got mine, I did too
Yeah.
because, well, Moldavite, so that they know what we're talking about. It's
Yeah,
Moldavite and
motivate.
Herkimer Diamond together, which she and I both have one. And Moldavite and Herkimer Diamond. So the Herkimer Diamond with the Moldavite enhances the Moldavite. And then the Moldavite is like a power crystal. So it's like a really high energy crystal and it'll enhance and rapidly increase change in your life. but you have to know how to set an intent on it, because if you don't set an intent on a moldavite, it can just do it at once and then put your life into like rapid chaotic change. And then you're going to be like, why is this happening? And it's because you didn't set an intent on it with your non-dominant receiving hand.
So I view crystals like technology. Like they're like little amplifiers of the tech that is already within. I'll tell you what I did with mine, and you can give me your opinion on this. So my moldavite ring that you just mentioned with the Herkimer, and how I didn't know that the Herkimer diamond was put with that to increase it.
It's an enhancer.
I set the intention. I use it as a communication device. So I use it as a communication device with other angles of consciousness and connection that I like to tap into. So that's what I intended to do with that. So I feel like I'll wear it at times when I want that extra communication to move beyond my ego in specific social settings, so I can see from a higher point of view. And then I take it off when I'm not desiring to have those strong connection links, because I feel like it can be too much.
So also, I'm not sure if you know, but don't sleep with it next to your bed, because it can mess with your dreams as well.
So I was actually guided. I put it away sometimes, but I have slept with it on a few times.
I have fell asleep with it on accident, and I have the craziest dreams when I do.
I do it on purpose.
I try not to, because I have a lot of night terrors though. So, you know, if I end up falling into a night terror and it enhances that, I don't.
Yeah, I understand.
It just depends on person.
Yeah.
You know, however you feel it works for you best. It's like, you know, each individual is different and has a different connection to their crystals than another person.
Kath has a question. So Kath is watching us on the Facebook live stream, and she wants to know, she said Moldavia, but I think she meant Moldavite. She said, is Moldavite from a meteor?
So how Moldavite was created, Moldavite is only found in the Czech Republic. And Moldavite was created, it was a meteorite that came crashing down to the Czech Republic. And when the meteorite mixed in with all the minerals in the dirt in the Czech Republic, it created Moldavite. So the only place that Moldavite can be found is there where that meteor hit in Czech Republic.
So you're saying that we both have a Moldavite piece, like it's a ring. And you're saying like our Moldavite only came from that one spot.
It's very, very rare. And that's why it's a more expensive stone. Wow, because once it's gone, it's gone. There's no more.
Made that. Rachel,
and it's recently started to really become popular within people who use crystals, and they've like a lot of places are now getting in Moldavite. So I don't know how long it's going to be here before.
Do you have any Moldavite that you work with?
I have Moldavite.
Yeah.
So I have a Moldavite ring.
I want a Moldavite piece. Like, would you make that for them? Or would you discern if it was meant to be? Like, how do you decide?
So I would.
Have you ever told somebody no, that they shouldn't get that piece right now?
That would be the only piece that I would have to look at the list, but that would be about the top one that I would say no to somebody, just depending on where they're at in their life. Because if you're in a really hurt place in your life and you're like not where, like on the steps to where you want to be yet, then I would recommend it for when you're more healed and less hurting, because it can bring out any of that, like it enhances you. So it can bring out that anger that you have towards a situation, or it can bring out your pain or how you're feeling. So it's definitely recommended to make sure that you do the rest of your internal work before having a Moldavite. I've wanted it for like 4 years and just got one this year because I just felt like I was ready.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that. I know there's a lot of women within the group, and probably some that will watch this later, who are on that healing journey, and they want to know, like, everyone wants that they want to get through this as fast as possible. So what would you suggest tools can they take to help soften the challenges of the healing journey? Like when we come through like the pain in the heart, like I felt it emotionally, mentally,
Mhm.
and physically. Like sometimes you can feel this stuff physically, like it'll manifest through the body. I was
Yeah.
working on father wounds the other day. My dad's in pain, and I had pain on my right side. So I know like this stuff can often manifest with through the physical form. What would you suggest for those who may be experiencing like emotional or even physical pain? How can they work with a crystal and these tools to help them alleviate some of what they're going through physically and emotionally?
So as I had mentioned, malachite's very good for emotional pains. When I first started using malachite, it forced me to deal with, and heal from a lot of traumas from my childhood that I had just made myself forget about or blocked out or just didn't want to deal with. It forced me to kind of deal with it. And so within a matter of, I would say, a year, I've made more progress than I have like in my entire life with healing from emotional traumas. And that's like a really good one for emotional trauma. And then there's also like certain crystals that you can use, like amethyst. Like you can put amethyst in your bath, like polished amethyst. You could put it in your bath and it gets in your water and it helps it. Like there's certain ones that can help your physical pains as well. You can take baths with them and put them under your pillow for like night terrors and anxiety and sleeping better.
That's amazing. How do we know that the crystal is working for us?
It takes time,
Mhm.
but I would say being mindful of your crystals, and after a while of having it, like don't expect like immediate results, but after a while of having it, and like just look back and see what things maybe that you've progressed in or that have changed in a positive way for you that maybe didn't before. It could be like the smallest of changes. Like for me, I I used to be naturally angry from having pain, and I probably haven't been like livid or like super mad in at least 6 months to 12 months. Like I've become very peaceful, and it's something that I definitely recommend to try using.
Kath has a question. She says she has, I have a big gemmy raw amethyst. Should I not use it in certain situations? I usually keep it by my bed, and that's an amethyst. And it's raw that she says she has.
So amethyst is safe raw. It is one of the crystals. Like if you go to Canada, you'll just see raw amethyst like spread across the ground. Like you just pick up raw amethyst everywhere. I love that for them. Like one of the reasons I want to go to Canada. They have
Wow.
amazing mining places there. And they have like one of the biggest amethyst caves actually. But it's safe to use like all the time. Just make sure that like if you're around any like negative energies or opposing energies that you cleanse it and then reset your intention on it.
Rachel has another share. She said, I've had moments when I've been in a store when I was so drawn to a specific crystal that made me feel ill to set it down. I purchased it and kept it with me 24/7 for about 4 weeks before I could set it down. It was a blue gold stone. I've never had that reaction to any stone before.
So I had that reaction to this piece of malachite right here. And it had a whole warning label on it telling me that I could get toxic respiratory and problems. And I was like, I need it. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm positive I need this thing. And then I it did amazing things for me. So normally when you feel like that, it's for a reason. It's something in your intuition intuition telling you that there's something in this that can help you with yourself, maybe progression or help with emotional trauma or whatever it may be that's going on in your life at the moment.
It's amazing. Yeah. Kath says, wow. Everyone's like, wow. And this was information we're so grateful to have on Align Your Divine. Thank you for coming on and
Thank
sharing
you for
your
having
knowledge
me.
with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Can you tell
I'm glad to share.
Yeah. And tell the women on Align Your Divine, like a little bit more about what you do, like Mystic Mars and how she serves the world.
So originally, like before I started doing crystals, I wanted to be a psychiatrist or therapist. I wanted to help people. And I wanted to figure out ways before like trying to do any of that I could help people naturally without needing a 10-year degree. And for me, like I know I've been through a lot of emotional hurt, a lot of emotional pain, and been through a lot in my life, such as others. And I wanted to figure out what I could do to like put what I've learned or what's helped me out there to as tools for other people, because I want to help other people heal as well, because enough of us only receive negativity or hurtful words, or people aren't mindful of them. So being able to have a space and place that you can go to for that, you know that someone's actually there for you and you know that you can feel safe at, is important. And so I wanted to be able to kind of like be a space for anybody who would need it and provide things that could help people. And so I feel like crystals are like a huge thing that help people. And that's why I started it, because it's a way for me to help others, and it's also something I'm very passionate about and absolutely love doing.
Yeah, I know you do. And we're glad to have you part of the Align Your Divine team. Can you share with the women of Align Your Divine and those who may be watching later on YouTube how they can find you if they were to want a custom piece or one of the pieces that you've already created?
So I have Instagram and Facebook. My Facebook is Mystic Mars, and my Instagram is the @ and then Mystic Mars with 2 C's. And then I also have Etsy linked to both my Facebook and my Instagram.
Oh, so you're on Etsy also.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So we can find you on most social channels as Mystic Mars.
Yep.
Great. Kath also wanted to compliment your scarf. She loves that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love these things. They're so comforting.
Yeah.
I know you put the one on the one day and you said how much you loved it too. I love these things.
That when you let me wear that golden pashmina, it felt so good. I felt so safe.
They're very comforting. They help with anxiety a lot too.
Yeah, it really did. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we end?
Nothing that I can think of.
Awesome. Kath requested, when we get off this, if you would mind putting your contact info and your links in the chat on our Facebook group.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, ladies, thank you for joining us on the Align Your Divine live Sunday for this special educational workshop with Mystic Mars. We look forward to having her share her wealth of knowledge and her beautiful offerings with us in this group. And we will see you shortly. Thank you for joining.